Interview.
Hey everyone, it's Giancarlo Veronini coming to you from Los Angeles at Electronic Arts headquarters, and I'm here with Casey Hudson, who is the project lead on Mass Effect 2. So basically I want to start off with what might be the hardest question. Commander Shepard, dead or alive?
Well, you know, that's certainly a mystery right now, and it's one of the things we're going to show at E3. We're going to show you exactly what's going on with that, because it actually does, it's not just like a tease thing or something we made up for, you know, just for promotion. This is actually part of the game, that question, and you'll see it answered at E3.
So one of the features for Mass Effect 2 is the ability to transfer your save data over to the sequel. How are things like the way that the player chose the ending in the original game and stuff like that, is that going to affect how stuff pans out in the beginning of the sequel?
It actually does. It's from the moment you start the game, you're going to see something different about your playthrough than, say, your friend who played in a different way and made different decisions. And that's one of the really special things about Mass Effect 2 and in fact the entire Mass Effect trilogy. You can jump into Mass Effect 2 and play it from the beginning, and it's an excellent entry point even if you haven't played the first one. But the advantage of having played the first one, and really the special thing about the story in this trilogy, is that by playing the first one and bringing that save game over, when you get into Mass Effect 2, the world looks the way that you left it. The people that you met and the decisions you made, these things actually carry through, and that's the really special thing that we're doing.
Excellent. Let's talk a little bit about sort of changes that are being made to the combat. Can you talk about that at all?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess on a high level, we went back and we looked at what we did was we actually looked at all the feedback that we could get on Mass Effect 1. We read every review, we looked at every forum post we could find. We took all the feedback and we categorized it and kind of ranked it, and we made every change that we could to kind of across the board improve everything in the game. So combat is one of the big things. So we took the basic idea of the combat system, which is you have 3 characters, you can order them to different targets and positions and stuff. But for example, now you can actually send each squad member to specific points. They have better mounting and mantling animations, so they'll actually, you know, kind of leap over cover, and just all of this stuff just kind of works a lot better. You also have the same kind of power system that we have before, but one of the things we really wanted to do is figure out how it can be much more real time, and so now you can map powers better. In fact, it plays in such a way that even controlling the special abilities of a squad, very rarely do you have to go into the kind of pause screen where you're looking at all the powers for your squad. You can actually fire these amazing like biotic and tech and soldier type powers in real time most of the time, and it feels great.
In the original Mass Effect, I think there were 6 classes. Are there going to be any new classes introduced for the sequel?
It's going to be kind of a similar class system, but we actually have developed a different way to kind of do character progression, so that, I mean, the main thrust behind that is, you know, we wanted to do something that's a little bit more interesting than just experience points, for example, where you generally in a role-playing game you get experience points by, you know, shooting an enemy, for example. But there's a lot of other interesting things that we've built in, even in Mass Effect 1, other ways to play through a situation. So now we're kind of building in something that's more mission-based in terms of how you progress your character, and then that whole system is quite different.
Another thing that the original game did really well was the dialogue system, and the fact that some of the decisions you can make were sort of just more your tone as opposed to actually what you were saying. Is there going to be more of that in the sequel?
Yeah, that's one of the things that people really liked about Mass Effect, is we came up with a new way of interacting with characters and having a conversation, a real-time conversation where you're having full voice, you're thinking in your head about what you would say, and then you're able to say it in real time, which is really amazing. So we keep that, but we also extend it by giving you an interrupt system that, again, we're going to be showing that at E3, but basically it's more of what we wanted to get to with Mass Effect 1, where you can be in the middle of a conversation, and as things actually start to get heated, and as a player you're thinking, all right, enough of this guy, we give you that moment, and it's still an optional thing that you can do, but you can literally grab control of the situation and do something amazing that's just much more hard-hitting and visceral than just in the conversation system.
Can you also talk a little bit about if there's been any sort of additions in terms of weapons or customization and things like that?
Well, in terms of weapons, I guess weapons and customization, that gets back to inventory, for example. Inventory is one of the things that we made huge improvements on for Mass Effect 2. And in fact, it's probably the only thing that we kind of picked up and trashed and started fresh, knowing the way people loved to play Mass Effect 1. We could start with, how do you really want to get really cool different weapons, and how can we make the weapons more different, feel more different? Same with your armor, a personalization system where you can still feel like you're a heavily armored character, but also give you much more interesting options in terms of the armor that you can wear and the way that you can personalize it. So that has been greatly extended by kind of going back to first principles on how you'd want that to work. Same thing with weapons. Weapons, we're giving you a lot of very different kinds of weapons, very different kinds of effects, and that whole system has been greatly extended, plus the fact that we'll have heavy weapons, which we'll be showing at E3.
And when do we finally get our hands on the game?
Mass Effect's going to be ready. Mass Effect 2 is going to be ready in spring 2010.
For which platforms?
Xbox 360 and PC.
Great, thank you.